الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So inshallah on the weekend of the 12th to the 14th of October, I will be teaching my latest AlMaghrib class, Lost in Translation, the art of contemplating the Qur'an, here in my own city of Birmingham. And I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to speak about this class and why it's so important and so pivotal in our lives to take and to understand. The whole topic of the contemplation of the Qur'an is actually one that's taken from the Qur'an. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala twice in the Qur'an, He says to us, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. Do they not contemplate over the Qur'an? And Allah Azza wa Jalla in the Qur'an, He doesn't tell us, why don't they read the Qur'an, why don't they memorize the Qur'an, why don't they understand the Qur'an or even apply the teachings of the Qur'an. But twice Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us to contemplate the Qur'an. And that's because contemplation is something that each and every single one of us can do. It's not like tafsir, which is a science and you need to study, a hadith and the statements of scholars and companions and so on. Contemplation is a very personal experience. It's you pondering over, thinking over the verses of the Qur'an and the meanings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed therein. It's what gives you a heightened sense of iman. It's what strengthens your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let's face it, all of us have this issue now that we're dealing with, which is we find it very difficult to connect with the Qur'an. We're finding it very hard to understand the role that the Qur'an plays and how its lessons and its stories and its morals and its teachings apply to us and our families in the West in the 21st century. All of the issues that we're facing, all of the problems, the dynamics, the Qur'an tells us that it has the answers, but the problem is that we don't know how to derive those answers. We don't know how to take them, deduce them and apply them into our daily situations. And the issue with that is that it comes back to contemplation of the Qur'an. And that's why the course is called Lost in Translation, because it's designed for the non-Arabic speaker, or even the Arabic speaker who can't actually contemplate the Qur'an because they haven't learned the principles and the tools and the steps by which they go and they contemplate the Qur'an. This will be inshallah a weekend full of different lessons and different principles, different steps that we can take in contemplating the Qur'an in a very easy way. It's a very example-led class, so we're just going to go through so many different instances in the Qur'an that if you just stop and ponder and pause, you find the amazing beauty of the Qur'an and its eloquence and its powerful message that you can take and apply into your own life and the life of your families, your children, the people around you. And inshallah, it will change your understanding, your whole perception of the Qur'an and how you relate to the Qur'an and the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I've taught this course in many cities across the world, alhamdulillah, and every single time people have come to me afterwards and said that they have never understood how to actually look at the Qur'an and how to have that connection with the Qur'an until they understood this important issue of contemplation. And that's why the companions used to often say that it's more beloved to them to read a short surah of the Qur'an, 5, 6, 7 verses, and spend the whole night contemplating those 5 or 6 verses rather than finishing, as opposed to finishing the whole of the Qur'an by looking. Why? Because it's about contemplation. That's where the quality comes in. When you start to contemplate the message of the Qur'an, and inshallah that's what we're going to spend a whole weekend focusing on, inshallah. How do we contemplate the Qur'an? I hope that you'll join me the 12th to the 14th of October, inshallah. The details are on the AlMaghrib website and on the Qabila Facebook page. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.